my channel. I'm Rainey, and today we are going to talk about what I read in the month of July and hopefully what I will read in the month of August. As you may have known, I have been in kind of a reading slump for the last, probably this whole year so far. And I just now kind of feel like I'm coming out of it. I don't really know what caused the reading slump. I think just busyness, and just not having the time to devote to reading and all the other things that I like to do and have to do. But now I think that things are kind of slowing down a little bit. We're getting towards the end of summer, and things are just kind of calming down. So maybe I might be out of my reading slump. That being said, I read a total of 4 things in the month of July. And let's just get right into them so that this video is not a million minutes long. As you may know, this month was Jane Austen July, and my original plan was to read Sense and Sensibility, which was the group read, and also What Kitty Did Next by, let me look at my notes, Carrie Cobleen, I don't know how to pronounce that name. But my original plan was to read both of those books for Jane Austen July. What Kitty Did Next has been on my TBRs for countless Jane Austen Julys. Have I read it yet? No. All I did was I was able to listen to a audiobook version of Sense and Sensibility, and it is a reread multiple times over. I've listened to this and read it multiple times. Absolutely love it. This is the physical copy that I own, and I did not read from this one this time, but I feel like maybe the next time I read it, I will read it physically. But this book follows 2 sisters, Eleanor and Marianne. Marianne, they are the Dashwood sisters, and Marianne is the more fanciful, romantic, overdramatic sister, where Eleanor is the more practical, kind of keeping everybody together kind of a sister. They recently lost their father, and the estate was entailed to, or left to, their older half-brother. And through various deeds, the brother basically left them with almost nothing, and the sisters and their mother had to move to a smaller cottage. But anyway, the girls, Eleanor and Marianne, are very different from each other, but they're very close. They both have romantic entanglements that, go wrong, as all of Jane Austen's novels do. The heroes in this one, Edward and Colonel Brandon. While I love Colonel Brandon, Edward is not the greatest of heroes, in my opinion, but Colonel Brandon is the bee's knees. But but yeah, they are not like the most, maybe not the most fleshed out heroes in Jane Austen's novels, but I really enjoy this one. And maybe it's because the first time I experienced this novel was because of the Emma Thompson and Alan Rickman and Kate Winslet version of the movie version, which I absolutely loved. And so maybe that's why I have like such love for this novel. But I loved it just as much as the last time I reread it. The next book that I read was Harvest of Rubies by Tessa Afshar. This is a biblical fiction, I would say. It's a historical fiction, not specifically biblical, like a biblical event. There is a biblical character that is part of this book, but he's not like a main character. So this is mostly, I would say, historical fiction set in biblical times. And of course, because it is biblical, it is Christian fiction. I would say I recently also read Pearl in the Sand by Tessa Afshar, which was a biblical story retelling of the story of Rahab, the prostitute. And I would say that Ruby in the Sand was much more of a romance than Pearl in the Sand. That one was a romance, but it had a lot more going on. Ruby or Harvest of Rubies did have a lot going on. It focused on a female scribe to the Queen of Persia, and she became like the head scribe, which was not normal. She spoke many languages. She had basically taught herself many languages. She was very smart, very observant, and she ended up helping the queen in many, many ways that gave her a lot of prestige in the Persian court. But she was rewarded in a way that she was not particularly happy about, and which resulted in a hate to love kind of relationship plot. So I would say that hate to love is really not my favorite plot line. I'm not like a big romance reader to begin with, but it's not like my favorite thing, because usually at least one of the characters is very unreasonable in their hatred of the other character, and I felt this happened in this story. Like, okay, there was an initial reason why, yes, the person would be very angry with the other character, but there was like no like relenting in that hatred for most of the story. But that being said, there was a definite subplot line that was very interesting and involved like a mystery, and the female character basically solving mysteries and bringing prestige to her new family. So I did really enjoy this book. It's just that the hate to love trope is not my favorite. So I gave this one probably 4 stars, I guess. And yeah, and I totally am looking forward to reading the rest of Tessa Afshar's book. Because the third book that I read was Killing at the Kite Fair by London Lovett. This is the newest release in her Frostfall Island Cozy Mystery series. It actually came out not yesterday. This is the 31st as I am filming this. It came out on the 29th. And look, number one, look at this cover. Isn't it beautiful? And I just happened to find Post-it tabs that matched perfectly. So I tabbed like my favorite parts and like different clues and things throughout the story. It was great. So anyway, I really, really love this Frostfall Island mystery series. I am, as you can see here, on the ARC, the Advanced Reader's Copy team for this, and it's really been great. I love getting this series in the mail. So this one follows Anna St. James, they all do, this is her series, who is a boarding house owner on Frostfall Island, and she she has a, you know, cast of quirky characters that live with her. And she is the like self-proclaimed investigator on the island because their only police force is on the mainland, and they don't have anybody like actually on the island to like get the initial clues and things for the various crimes that just happened to be committed on Frostfall Island. So in this one, someone dies during a kite fair that has a kite club involved in it, and one of the members is killed, and Anna and her housemates have to try to solve the mystery before the entire kite club just leaves the island. So, and it's ruled an accident, and the murderer gets away. And there is also a underlying personal, like historical mystery subplot that goes on in this series, which most of London's books that I have read in all of her series seem to have that underlying like historical mystery. And a big thing happens in this book, which I will not talk about, but a big thing happens with that subplot mystery in this book that was very exciting. So yeah, I really, really love this one, and I would highly recommend. This is, I believe, number 5. Does it say on here? It does not. At least not that I see. But this is number 5 in the series so far, and I can't wait for the next one to come out. Yay! And the next one that I read was The Trail of the Serpent by Mary Elizabeth Braddon. And this is a Victorian sensation novel that I buddy read with my friend Joe. And we both were just entertained from beginning to end. And I usually have a hard time physically reading things on my Kindle, and especially really long books, but I couldn't find an audiobook version of this book, but I more or less kept up the entire way reading this just on my phone most of the time because it was just so enthralling the entire way through. I've heard mixed things about The Trail of the Serpent, but I ended up really loving it. It just was just twist after twist. I mean, I kind of saw most of it coming, but at the same time, I feel like Mary Elizabeth Braddon in the Victorian era would have been like kind of the one like creating these tropes that now seem cliche to us. I wouldn't say it was a mystery per se, because we pretty much knew who the villain was the entire way through, but it was just about that villain getting away and doing multiple bad things to people, and people trying to catch him and not being able to catch him, and just like the mastermind of this person. And it was really, really interesting, I thought. And yeah, Joe and I just really were just, every time we would message each other, we're like, oh, another big thing just happened. Can this book get any crazier? So yeah, it was really fun, basically. I mean, it was basically about a serial killer. So it's not a fun premise, but just like the different people that were involved in this, and just the different identities and all kinds of things. Just it was just very entertaining. So I highly recommend The Trail of the Serpent. And the last book that I read, I listened to in like 3 hours because it was a middle grade fiction, or well, semi fictional. I think it was based on a real family, and that was Caddy Woodlawn by Carol. Oh, I can't even pronounce the middle name, but Carol Briggs. And I'll have a picture of it here. this basically was a kind of like a Little House on the Prairie type of a book. It had a lot of the same themes. It was a family who was pioneers in Wisconsin, which Little House on the Prairie also was. And it was a mother and a father, and I think there were 7 children in that family. And it is based off of the grandmother of Carol Brinks, I believe, and her family growing up. So it was just, just like just their lives as pioneers, and kind of living next to the Native Americans and them being friends with them, but also the Civil War happening and the westward expansion, and like just the hatred and distrust that went on between the white people and the Native Americans, and just like all of that, but done in a very tasteful way that children could absorb, and yeah, it was just very nice. I mean, some bad things happened to them and happened to the Native Americans, of course, because it didn't really shy away from that. But mainly it was just kind of a Little House on the Prairie, kind of like warm fuzzies for that particular family, at least, kind of a feeling, and just how they loved each other and helped everybody. And there was like a little twist at the end that I didn't see coming, and that was fun and heartwarming. And yeah, I read that in like a day for a little book club that I am in with my friend Angie from Angie in the Great World, and Lindsay from Lindsay Reads, and another friend of Angie's who doesn't have a channel, but I believe she watches a lot of Booktube. So yeah, that one was really nice too. And that was pretty much the end of my month. So that's why I decided that I was going to, do this right now. So yeah, that was my July. So now I'm just going to quickly run through the things that I want to read in August, because I really don't know how much I'm going to get read, and this video is already getting long. So the first thing that I plan to start tomorrow is a buddy read with my friend Ellie, and I will have her channel linked below. And we will be reading Summer's End by Juno Black, and this is part of the Shady Hollow Cozy Mystery series. And this one follows the fox Vera Vixen, and she is a reporter for the Shady Hollow Times, I think it is. Anyway, she's a reporter, and she tends to solve murders in the town of Shady Hollow, along with all her other woodland animal friends. And it's just a really fun series. And in this one, I read the back of the book, and it looks like she accompanies a school as a chaperone to an ancient tomb in like another place called Summer's End. And in that tomb is a body that is a little bit more modern than the other bodies in this tomb. Seems like a really weird place to take kids on a field trip, but hey, who am I? So Vera and her friend Lenore, who is a raven, I would just like to mention, are going to solve the mystery of who this person is in this historical tomb that shouldn't be there. So I'm very excited to read this with Ellie. Yay. And then the next cozy mystery that I am going to be reading is Summer Slope Sabotage. And this is by Nikki Hensley, who is the daughter of London Lovett, who is my other favorite cozy mystery novel, or cozy mystery author. And this is part of her Luna's Lunchette mystery series, and this is number 3. I'm actually not sure if she's come out with any more in that series yet. But in this one, there is another festival happening, and it is called Slope Fest. And I guess this is during the summertime when there's no snow on the slopes where they live. But there are events that like summer type athletic events that happen during this festival. And lots of famous people come to this place, and of course, as you might guess, somebody famous comes to the event, but he or she, I can't remember actually, will die. And Luna, who just is a, amateur sleuth that just likes to poke her nose where it doesn't belong, is going to solve this mystery. So I'm very excited. I am going to be buddy reading this with my friends Tara and Amanda, who we have not read something together for so long, and it's time. And then, because I didn't get to it in July, I'm going to just have myself an Austen August and really try to get What Kitty Did Next into this August TBR. I am just tired of having that on my TBR and just not getting to it. I don't not get to it for any reason. I just don't. And so I'm going to get to it this month. I swear. If I come on this channel at the end of August and I have not read What Kitty Did Next, you have my permission to yell at me. But be nice. But you can yell at me. So, yeah, I don't know what this is about other than Kitty from Pride and Prejudice, one of the sisters of Elizabeth Bennet. It's what she probably does after everybody else gets married in her family. I don't know. So I'm very excited for that one too. You wouldn't know it since I have not read it in like years, but I'm excited because I've heard good things, and just the months seem to just get away from me, and I have too many things always on my plate. Okay, so you have my permission to yell at me at the end of August. Okay, the next one, Journey to the River Sea by Eva Ibbotson. This one is Angie's pick for our little book club that I talked about earlier. We all are picking like a children's book to read this year each month, and it's Angie's turn. So she has picked Journey to the River Sea, and it is about an orphan girl from England, I believe, who goes to the Amazon to find family or something. I'm not really sure. But somehow she gets swept up in a mystery, and she ends up heading down the Amazon River and with another person. So I'm very intrigued by this, and I've heard good things about Eva Ibbotson. So that's all I know. I'm excited. And then we are just going to keep trucking along with Little Dorrit by Charles Dickens that I started with my friend Alicia from Adventures of Stitching. And I didn't like the audiobook I had, so we put it down for a while. Then we picked it back up, and then we got busy again, and we're only like 3 chapters in. And man, we got to get going on this. But I have a better audiobook now, so I'm excited to... Why do I keep saying that I'm excited? I need to put this into my rotation and get with the program. And yeah, we're gonna get this done. Maybe not in all of it in August, but I am putting it on a like daily rotation to at least listen to a chapter a day. That is my goal. So here's hoping. And then also I have been re-listening to The Two Towers by Tolkien, part of the Lord of the Rings series. The second one, I am reading that with my friends Leanne and Alicia, who are Flosstube friends. And I am sure Leanne would like us to get with the program and move faster with it. But again, busyness has just kind of stalled me and Alicia, and hopefully we can get trucking on that a little sooner here. And then I would also like to finish Women of the Word by Jen Wilkin. I started this one a couple months ago, and it's a nonfiction that is just about Bible study and how to study the Bible. And it's really short, and I should just finish it. And I like it. I'm liking it, but a lot of my nonfiction got brushed to the side for whatever reason. So I'm going to try to finish that in the month of August. So that's the TBR and my July wrap up. And yeah, that's it. We'll see how this goes. I'm going to try, famous last words, I'm going to try to potentially be back weekly for like a weekly reads. I'm not sure what day yet. It might be different days every week, but either, hopefully someday during the weekend, and just, fill you in real quick on what I'm reading. That's going to be my plan. We'll see if it happens. If it doesn't, I will try to be back for like a mid-month wrap-up. That might end up being better, but I'm trying to be a little bit more visible here on the Booktubes. So I know I do a lot of floss tubes, but I would like to be a little bit more visible on the Booktubes. So yeah. All right, friends, that's all. This video ended up being long again, of course. So I don't think I can do short videos. So, happy August. I hope you had a lovely July, and I will see you maybe next weekend. Okay,